fellers.
Well, howdy, fellers, and welcome back to Rough Draft Research.
If you came here, you're in the good place. Tell you what.
Week 9 of the NFL football season is what we will be talking about. A lot of crazy headlines this week. The NFL was kind of fucking nuts. Bye weeks this week. Detroit, Seattle, Tampa Bay, Washington. We got matchups. The Jets and Colts are happening right now. It's halftime, 28-10. So let's get her started.
Alrighty.
And we'll kick it over to Christian for the news and headlines.
All right. So a couple huge things. Aaron Rodgers is going to miss Sunday. He's got COVID. Turns out he's unvaccinated, so he could miss 2 weeks. We can get into that if you want. People are really mad about it. I'm not really sure why, but we can talk about it or we can just move on. It's up to you guys.
Well, here's my question. Is Pat Mahomes vaccinated? Probably.
I assume so, yeah.
Yeah, and you see what it's done to his game, so
Oh, damn.
it might just be worth it to not get vaccinated and roll the dice, you know? That was
Right.
the concern, is that it would affect your, your
play,
elite ability, and it's hard to say it has. I mean, I think the whole Kansas City team probably got vaccinated, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Everybody but Nick Bolton got vaccinated, and now we see what's happening.
Nick Bolton's playing pretty well.
Yeah,
exactly.
But yeah, I mean,
unite.
So I don't know how much you guys looked into it or whatever. Did you know about him petitioning the NFL for his, like, I put a voodoo health cleanse in the notes, like he did some weird like boost of antibodies and he wanted that to count as being vaccinated and the NFL said no.
Oh, well, it didn't work. So
Yeah. So he still got COVID, but like apparently he's been following all the protocols, except not wearing masks during
Press
conferences, and like after the game interviews and stuff. So he may get fined, but people are acting like it's the end of the world. Plus, Kirk Cousins doesn't wear masks, so what are we doing?
Oh, he's not playing elite either. 100% vaccinated.
Well, he was so against it. But yeah, so that sucks. But Jordan Love's up. That'll be exciting, and we'll get more into that later, I'm sure.
Yeah, it'd be fun to see him start.
I'm excited to see something.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not one of the, I'm running into people who are like, oh, right, and I'm more of a, like, I don't want to watch the Giants versus the Chiefs game, you know what I mean? I want to see, like, rough. If the Chiefs are going to go out there and not get it done, I want to at least see them getting mowed over by somebody else, right?
Oh, that's fair.
So, but yeah, like you said, we'll talk it out.
Yeah. All right. Some bigger news, in my opinion, even though if you look at the national media, you wouldn't think so. Henry Ruggs, his career is over. He's probably going to go to jail. I'd be surprised if he didn't. But so I'm sure everyone's heard. But yeah, so he got in a car accident, found out that he was twice over the legal limit, and the police said he was driving 156 miles an hour when he hit another car and killed a woman and her dog.
Oh, what the fuck?
So yeah, he is getting charged with a DUI with something loss of life, something to do with, I forget how they phrased it. But yeah, so it's looking like Henry Ruggs is done.
Oh yeah, I think that's a no-brainer.
I mean, the nail in the coffin was when you find out how fast he's going. I don't know that any lawyer could argue that, because like if you make a bad decision and drive home drunk from a bar, and anybody could get in an accident doing that, but you add in you driving like a jackass, not even a jackass, like literally a crazy person, then that's just But Uber, Lyft, come on. Let's all use those. Like it's way too easy.
It's a good transition. Rough Draft Research is sponsored by Lyft. I'm just kidding.
That'd be tight.
Yeah, it would be. We'd have to be worried about our day jobs. Shit.
Yeah. But yeah, it sucks though, because he's just a kid doing stupid stuff, and now he ends another kid's life and ruins his. So.
Yep. A lot of people's.
Yeah. Next up, some more bad news. Calvin Ridley stepping away from the game of football for a while to deal with some mental health, and I think we can all pretty much just say, hopefully he gets better. Like whatever he's dealing with, I hope he gets the help that he needs, and we'll see him back at some point.
Yep. I mean, good example from the previous person we were talking about. Maybe get your mental health in check so you don't make some horrible decisions.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on professional athletes, man. I can't imagine. There's a lot of different ways to cope with it, and stepping away from the game is probably one of the better ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we have no idea the pressures that they're under. I mean, we can make it up all day and talk like we know the game, but we don't know the game. And then you add in just how volatile social media can be. I know we all act like nobody cares about that stuff, but you're constantly in the public eye and being talked about. It can, I don't know, it could ruin you for sure.
So. Oh man, I get pissed off enough reading comments that don't involve me. I can't even imagine if I had 100,000 followers and people commenting on literally everything I did.
Yeah, that'd be wild. I'm right there with you. This week I've been getting really angry at comments. So
yeah,
I avoid it like the plague, man. I mean, people say stuff just to get a reaction, So if you take anything personally on the internet, you're already on the losing side of that battle, and there is no winning because people are just, they're just taking shots constantly. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So best of luck to Calvin Ridley. Oh, and I should throw that on there. I hope Aaron Rodgers heals from COVID and it doesn't hurt him too bad. Should have said that at the top.
Oh yeah.
But
you strike me as a Jordan Love kind of guy.
I will get into that later. I'm actually watch Jordan Love, but we got more bad news. Jameis Winston done for the year. That's rough. He was having a decent year, nothing crazy, but he makes the Saints fun. And now a team that just beat the Bucks was on the rise, maybe, and now they got a weird quarterback situation, and that sucks for him too. Hopefully he heals all super fast and can come back next year.
Yeah, I mean, he looked all right in the locker room dancing on those crutches.
Yeah, that's fair.
Nothing's gonna slow him down. He's gonna get LASIK for his knees.
Speaking of New Orleans quarterbacks, though, Phillip Rivers, just a little tease, said that if New Orleans called, he'd be interested in talking with them. I don't know that he's that much of an upgrade over Trevor Siemian, but
I mean, this is a throwback joke, right? Like,
yeah, it's gotta be.
Like, oh, Drew Brees. Oh no, I'll take over. No problem. Done it before. I'll do it again.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So, Drew can't make it. I'll be there.
I got you. Yeah, I guess they should just call Drew, although he wasn't that good anyway. Last year. Speaking trades, we didn't have any huge fantasy trades really. The big Von Miller trade happened. It's going to make playing against the Rams even harder, but other than that, it's nothing.
Melvin Ingram to the Chiefs, and I think that was about it.
Yeah. Bunch of side people.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, then that kind of wraps up our news, I'd say.
I also love how it gets to the trade deadline. And, Odell Beckham is having his whole fiasco. Apparently, he's done for the year. I read something about it. That Stefanski's just said he's basically not with the team for the year. Marlon Mack doesn't get traded and is healthy and active tonight. So
that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many layers.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
the Odell stuff's weird.
Did you see his dad post that?
The 11-minute video
of him.
I love that soundtrack though.
Yeah,
like that
was that REM. or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a weird choice for Odell. If you would have told me to name 10 songs that Odell Beckham Jr.'s dad would put on a video of Baker Mayfield missing passes, I don't think REM would have made that cut.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Speaking of a poor usage of social media, Odell Beckham Jr.'s dad.
Oh, yeah.
He must be hanging with the Ball's dad. What's it?
Oh, God.
Lamar Ball.
Yeah, LeVar.
Are they the
Or
same
Lamar.
person?
They might be.
Yeah, Ball. Let's change out the vowel. Makes sense to me. Yeah,
All right.
not
Well,
a lot of sexy trade stuff, that's for sure.
No. I feel
Nah.
like that's pretty much how it always goes for the NFL.
Well, we can talk briefly. Jets, Colts, playing right now, actually. We're recording this on Thursday. It's 28-10 at halftime. Got a touchdown from Naeem Hines. He's back.
JT got a touchdown?
JT looking really good. Hurt his knee, so we'll see if he returns. Really bummed Elijah Moore got his first touchdown from Mike White. And then the exact same play that happens, he hurts his wrist and he couldn't throw the ball. So we're at the backup's backup right now for the Jets. So
Is it Joe Flacco? I haven't seen it.
now it's something Johnson.
Huh.
I don't know. I actually had to mute my notifications because Carson Wentz
Yeah.
is doing so well. My phone won't stop.
Yeah, he's doing damn well. Threw
I
a
had to
touchdown to
start-
Jack Doyle and Pittman.
Hell
Yeah, they're in the red zone now too, but I had to start Carson Wentz to replace Aaron Rodgers in our dynasty league. So that's
You're
how
liking
yeah.
that.
yeah.
You don't need any help in our dynasty, though. So, all right, let's move it on to the matchups, man. We're going to do our little thing here. We'll start with Daniel doing the Giants Raiders.
Okay. Well, as mentioned, Henry Ruggs is not with the Raiders. He's been released. And that's kind of a big blow to a team that is second in passing and fourth in big pass plays over 25 yards. You know, Ruggs was averaging 67 yards a game and about 12 fantasy points per game. So I wonder how much of the passing stats are going to take a little bit of a downside without him. But as we all know, don't trust a guy with two first names. But I'm going with Brian Edwards all the way on this one. Him and Renfro, they got to be, you know, they're going to be dicing up those fantasy points and putting them in the pocket. And for years, we've seen Derek Carr with a safety valve to Waller. I say years, it's been like 2 years in this year, but I think we'll see a lot more of that going on. I'm pretty excited about the Raiders. We can talk the Giants real quick, just get that out of the way. They looked good against the Chiefs, or did the Chiefs look bad against the...
They both look bad.
It was so painful to watch.
It was a snooze fest for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Giants are like bottom 10 in points and points allowed. So they're not like a great team by any means. And in addition to that, it's just like freaking injury after injury for these guys. And now Saquon's got the COVID protocol going on after missing several weeks with some injuries. We still got questionable for Tony and Galladay, and then Shepard is pretty much not going to be part of this game. So that's this makes it rough. The roughest part of all that is that the Raiders are allowing the 29th most rushing yards. So that would have been a great game for Barkley to be part of. I guess we're going to look for Booker to be tearing it up again. I think, you know, he got 60 yards against the Chiefs, which is a pretty crappy defense against the run. So maybe he can have another game like that this week. I don't know. But my big excitement is about the Raiders still. I really do think that these are the kind of players you want to get back into from a fantasy standpoint. They still have 2 games against Kansas City on the schedule. They got a game against Washington. They got to play Dallas. So if they're number 2 in passing right now, if they can keep that going with Derek Carr, then I think you look at a team that's going to have some fantasy studs, and we all know that Josh Jacobs, right? The Joshy posse.
Yes, go. Let's go.
He's probably going to have a good game this week. You know, the Giants aren't that great against the rush, so I'm all in, man. I think it's going to be a good game. I think the Raiders are going to come into town and kick a little bit of ass. I will say the Giants defense is doing okay against the passing game. They limited Mahomes to 261. They limited Matt Stafford to 234, and then they made Sam Darnold look like he still played for the Jets. So maybe they'll step it up. But I do think that the ground game is going to be pretty strong. And I don't know. The Raiders are going to be awesome, and the Giants just aren't healthy enough to make a stand.
Yeah, I mean, they've been racked with injuries. I do want to comment on the Ruggs thing. I am nervous for the Raiders. Ruggs did add a lot of value to the offense, even when he wasn't touching the ball, by making them more vertical. The teams playing the Raiders had to worry about the vertical pass game because of Ruggs and his speed. With that gone, are you guys at all worried that teams can kind of choke down and try to choke the life out of the passing game? Because, I mean, Renfro and Edwards, they're good players, really good players, but they don't have that, like, deep threat ability. Waller, to a point, does. But, you know, I'm just a little worried about that. I want to see how they kind of compensate for that.
Yeah.
I think Edwards has had a lot of deep balls, and I know he's not like the deep threat, but he's been versatile in the long ball game. So as far as I think he steps into that role, I don't think, you know, when you have two guys out there with Ruggs and Edwards, it probably opened up those opportunities for Edwards. I don't know if he can, you know, take on the full load for the downfield stuff. And I've always just had a soft spot for Zay Jones.
Yeah.
You know? Like there's got to be something.
He took the top off the defense a couple times last year. That Chiefs game, notably.
For sure.
I did want to mention Brian Edwards. I feel like with the S at the end of Edwards, doesn't make it two first names.
It makes it three first names. Multiple Edwards.
You're right.
Fuck.
Well, let's pass it along to Christian, the Cardinals versus the 49ers.
Yeah, so this is an interesting rematch of a game that happened earlier in the year. And I kind of see some similarities. I think the Packers may have given a small blueprint on how to handle the Cardinals. And it seemed like the Niners were already on their way to doing that the first time they played them. The Cardinals only beat them 17-10. So if you can find a way to slow down Murray by taking time off the clock and running the ball, that's their biggest weakness. The Cardinals' rush defense allowed 151 yards to the Green Bay Packers last week. And that was, you knew they were going to run the ball. They didn't have their top three receivers, and they still put 151 on them. And then we saw San Francisco's run game wake up last week. Elijah Mitchell had 137 yards, 7.6 yards per carry. He's dealing with a bit of a rib injury. He was limited today, but he was practicing. So we'll see what that goes. But, you know, hopefully Kyle Shanahan can take advantage of this Cardinals run defense. I do think it's funny. Elijah Mitchell had 137 yards, and San Francisco as a whole had 145. So they only were able to get, eight more rushing yards out of their other players, and most of that was Jimmy Garoppolo, who was vulturing touchdowns from Mitchell. But I digress. But if you can make the Packers start slow, the Cardinals start slow like they did last week. The Cardinals drives, 3-and-out punt, touchdown, 3-and-out punt, 4-and-out punt, 3-and-out interception. If you can do that and then dominate time of possession, the Packers had 38 minutes to 22 minutes by the end of the game. And that it was worse than that in the first half because the Cardinals started to pick it up. But if you can take the ball away, kind of suffocate them in the first half, and just take control of the game on the ground, I think that's the way you could do it. And I think the 49ers have a good chance to do that. I'm not picking them in this game, but I could see where that could happen.
Yeah.
And then as far as like players to look out for, obviously Elijah Mitchell, if he plays, Deebo Samuel, I mean, I don't know if we're talking about him enough. He's been crazy, averaging 22 fantasy points per game.
It's crazy.
I think Rondale Moore is going to be angry. He had a bad game last week. He in some ways kind of cost them the game to a certain extent. And so I look for him to kind of bounce back. And speaking of bad run defenses, look for Chase Edmonds to try and take advantage of the 27th ranked run defense. And that's a team that's already had a bye. So they're 27th in yards with a bye week already worked in there. So the 49ers are. So I'm looking for, those are my 4 guys that I think are going to have really good games.
Don't forget James Conner.
Just waiting for it.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure Connor will steal some touchdowns, but
That's funny. Yeah, Debo's the points per game number 3 wide receiver in the fantasy realm.
He had the calf injury though, right? I think I saw today he was riding a bike instead of practicing. So he's still active at least, but a lot of those starters don't really need to practice all the time.
Yeah, I think at a certain point, as long as you can keep them fresh, keep the conditioning going,
Yeah. I think he's Yep. I always say, like, these guys don't really need to practice that much, right? Like, they're professional athletes.
Yeah, like
they just go out there and turn it on,
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
So,
you saw, like, Hopkins, talking about the Cardinals. You saw Hopkins last week. He made a difference in that game in the very limited snaps that he had.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
if Debo can get out there and make some shit happen, maybe to open the door for Ayuk, though.
Oh, baby.
Not that
Nice.
it's like, is that a door or is it like I don't know, he's like tapping the window, throwing rocks at the
I
Let me
forgot
in.
he's even on the team, I think.
Yeah.
oh fuck, we
Yeah,
gave away your jersey number, dude.
It's like he's trying to go through the sliding, like open the sliding glass door. No one opened it. He's just like,
Yeah.
like smacks his face.
Fuck.
What the hell just happened?
Yeah, been there.
Shanahan.
Oh, yeah, I really I thought that I think I said this last week. I thought the Packers kind of robbed one. You mentioned Rondell cost them the game, perhaps, but I think most definitely 2 turnovers directly off of his fingers. So yeah, hopefully he takes the opportunity to step things up in the right direction. He's definitely looking strong. It's can't really help a guy going through all that shit though.
Yeah.
Cardinals all the way.
Yeah, I definitely think they win, but I think it's going to be a good game.
Vikings versus the Ravens. You knew I had to talk about them. These guys gave me shit for the lengthy notes, but
Don't worry about us,
let's
man.
roll with it. I'm going to talk about the Ravens defense. It's been pretty weak. Not really surprising considering their chart is just riddled with players on the IR. Marcus Peters, all these guys. I'm just going to go through a little bit of stats. Their corner, Anthony Everett's given up 477 yards and a touchdown. Marlon Humphrey has given up 422 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also gave up last week 5 receptions for 165 yards and a touchdown to just Jamar Chase alone.
Holy shit.
So that gives me a vote of confidence, the LSU connection with Justin Jefferson. Isn't that how it works?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wish. They do have a pretty good rushing defense. They've only allowed 603 yards in 7 games. It is the lowest rushing attempts against. I think that's maybe because the Ravens' offense is a little more explosive, kind of forcing people to throw the ball. But I'm not going to count on a lot of Dalvin Cook because the Vikings starting center, Garrett Bradbury, was placed on the IR today for COVID. Or the COVID reserve, not the IR. The COVID reserve. So I think they're going to have to be forced to change up their play calling a little bit, which, as a Vikings fan, I'm excited about if they do it. Hopefully they're forced to kind of throw the ball up. The guy replacing him is Mason Cole, who's a 66.5 pass blocker rating. He was a former starter at Arizona. He's a little taller, not as big, though. I think Conklin is startable in this game. Not over your top 6, but if you look at what the Bengals did last week with Uzama, who the safeties gave up 2 touchdowns to, and I think when you have to respect an Adam Thielen and a Justin Jefferson, that kind of opens up the ball to the offense kind of spread out a little bit, and if he runs in that slot, and is forced to take on that safety coverage. I mean, we've seen it. He's a pretty athletic guy. I put in here a sleeper, KJ Osborne, who's been known to take the top off the defense once this year. So that's my just throw at a DFS. If you need just like a cheap guy and you got a stacked lineup, like who knows, man? He's very capable of that long touchdown, especially if people are respecting the Adam Thielens, the Justin Jeffersons, and that's my biggest take is they have to get Justin Jefferson going. He did nothing last week. If they want to be competitive in this game versus the Ravens, they got to do it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Vikings defense. The positive is the linebacking core. Anthony Barr, ever since he's came back, there's been a tight cap on the tight ends. Ian Thomas had that 40-yard reception in the Carolina game when it was 4th and 5 on the 1-yard line. I don't know if you guys saw that game. It's kind of just fucking lucky play, a little blown coverage as they were trying to sneak up and rob the screen pass. But since then they played. T.J. Hawkinson had 2 receptions, 22 yards. No one's been able to get it going. I think with that linebacker core, maybe they can contain Lamar, but only for so long. It's inevitable before he does Lamar things. Yep. Harrison Smith, Xavier Woods, the safeties have been playing great. Maybe that tampers the Hollywood Brown expectations. The biggest thing is Danielle Hunter is out for the season with a torn pec. And if you saw what happened last week with Cooper Rush, once he stopped rushing the quarterback, this backup quarterback just completed the same pass over and over on Cam Dantzler. The secondary is weak, and I think this is Rashad the God time. He's been praised on his route running. I think he's just going to have his way with these cornerbacks, and there's nothing the Vikings can do about it.
Don't let it go for back into Minnesota, man.
Oh, shit. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So those are my long-ass notes. I'm sorry. I had to get it all out. I even tried to be optimistic, but we're losing this game. Skull Ravens.
Bro. You guys are losing games you should be winning. Maybe you'll win a game you should be losing.
Yeah.
It's been a fucked up kind of NFL thing, Like we all saw the Jets last week, right?
Yeah.
So you never know, man. Any given Sunday.
Honestly, that's kind of what's in the back of my mind. It's like, oh, Kirk, you played like shit. The play calling was shit. So we're going to come out there knowing we're going to get stomped and somehow just fucking run all over these guys. So I don't think that'll happen, but.
You think Dalvin turn it back on, man? Get it going?
I'm hoping so, man. He kind of looked human last week.
For sure.
Which I didn't appreciate, but.
Hey, we say, there's a lot of pressure on these guys. Maybe save them for the postseason.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
I'm excited for this game, though. I think, the Ravens coming off a bye. Before the bye, they're getting embarrassed by the Bengals, and they got something to prove, All of a sudden, 4-4 doesn't look like a horrible record with these big teams falling. It's getting a little weird in the AFC side of the world.
Yeah, most certainly. You got anything on this, Christian?
No, I mean, I liked all your points. I'm interested to see if Rashad Bateman can get going. But yeah, I think the Vikings will lose. And I think they can kind of do it multiple ways. No offense, but I mean, they're good against the run. But you brought it up. It's only a matter of time before Lamar Jackson. It's a different type of running team. It's harder to stop. So, but it should be interesting. And I mean, the Vikings offense is still playing well, and the Ravens defense has been up and down. So I think it could be a good game, but I do pick the Ravens here. And as far as fantasy goes, I mean, I say it probably too much on this podcast, but yeah, I would start your just your big names on both teams. And I am with you on Tyler Conklin, though, being startable this week.
Yep. Well, thank you. Feels good. Yeah, I think it'll be fun to see because these cornerbacks, Mackenzie Alexander, Rashad Breeland, Cam Dantzler, I really do think Rashad has a very nice opportunity to showcase some of his skills. So
that would be super fun.
Hell yeah.
Not as fun as if Green Bay had drafted him, but
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're right. That would be more fun. But
what about Terrace Marshall Jr., the Chiefs?
oh my goodness. Yeah, actually, that's on my long list of.
Even after how Nick Bolton's been playing?
Well, I was going to say that's on my long list of miscues this offseason. I was wrong about several players, and Nick Bolton, I didn't know anything about him. I knew TMJ was a baller, and I really do think he would have helped this offense in an extreme way, but not as much as Nick Bolton has helped this defense.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it in a bit.
I guess.
We'll kick it back over to you, though. We'll talk Bears Steelers.
Okay. All right. Well, it was cool. It was a cool game last week. The Bears did some stuff against the Niners. I was like, fuck yeah. Here we go. Justin Fields looking sexy, doing his thing.
it looked good. That run was nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So over 100 yards, and then Khalil had 72. So that was pretty cool. The Niners aren't really known for stopping the rush. Not nearly as good as the Steelers, who are allowing the seventh fewest, they're in the top 10 in limiting rushing touchdowns, and they're at the seventh lowest scoring allowed. So having a prolific offense, probably not going to happen in this game. The Bears are not really having any big plays. They still haven't got Allen Robinson going. And even though the Steelers' coverage isn't that great, I don't think that the Bears have enough of a passing game established to really take advantage of it. Mooney did have 9 targets in this last game, but I don't see it being sustainable, especially not against the Steelers. I mean, this team is amazing, Mm-hmm. They're one of the better defenses out there. You can't run on them, which seems to be the only thing, between Fields and Khalil Herbert. That's pretty much the only thing they have going for them. No Cole Kmet. There's no Allen Robinson. Like, who else is even on this team? It's just weak. It hurts my heart.
Shit.
Yeah, I know. Just saw that Jonathan Taylor. That was
Jonathan Taylor's 75-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Holy shit.
I might win in the Superflex
I'm
this
like,
week. Let's
I'm
go.
I'm trying to pay attention, and I'm just like, okay, this is happening. So Jonathan Taylor, that's
He's a
insane.
monster.
That's insane. All right, I'm gonna watch this play unfold. That was amazing. You know what's not amazing is the Steelers and the offensive side of the ball. The yardage total is bottom 10, point total bottom 10. Just really, really not great with the rushing yards either. So we'll see what happens. One thing that's curious about the Steelers is we know how shitty that O-line is, but it's still not really hurting Big Ben. And that's because he's going for the second lowest air yards in the league, and his pocket time is the third lowest. He's not hardly getting sacked at all because he's getting the ball out pretty quick. So what are you going to do, man? He's just dumping it off. Pat Freiermuth had a great game last week. I want to see more of that. Obviously, Deontay Johnson is benefiting from this intermediate pass game. And so we'll just see what happens against the Bears. They're not really killing it on the defensive side of the ball as much as we'd
Not
like.
bad either, though.
They're not horrible, that's for sure. They're definitely limiting scoring, but and the passing, but they're giving up quite a bit of rushing yards. And we saw what Najee was able to do last week, and that was against the Browns team that is, third in limiting rushing yards. So I think you put him against the Bears, and Najee's going to have himself a little bit of a pretty awesome game. Akeem Hicks was back last week, but it didn't really translate to any improvement on that side, the pass rush side of the ball. So I don't know. I look for the Steelers to win this game, and I think it's going to be kind of a sad one to watch, especially for people who got excited about Justin Fields and what he did last week. But that might just be me. It could just be me.
It's not just you. I'm 100% with you. I don't think he has the talent around him or the grasp on the NFL game just yet to deal with the Pittsburgh defense. But I still think this game is close because I just think the Steelers are so inept on offense that a pretty good Bears defense, good to average Bears defense, can kind of limit them. And I could see this being just like last week, 15-10 or whatever the final score of the Steelers game was.
That was it.
I do have the Steelers in this game, and yeah, I think Allen Robinson has got to take the award for most disappointing fantasy asset of the year, right?
Yeah.
Brandon Ayuk's up there.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, he's
At least I feel like I'd give it to A-Rob because he's at least proved it for multiple years. That he's gotten out
it's
all
not a
of
sophomore
sudden.
slump.
Yeah. And so, man, it's been rough. As a guy in 2 leagues, I drafted him thinking like, oh, he'll be an anchor on my wide receiver core as I build depth around him. And then, woof, he is.
Oh, damn.
One game with 10 points.
So you didn't draft Antonio Gibson in the first round in multiple leagues, huh?
I drafted him.
Did you just
Third
trade
round.
for him and Kelsey? Because like I did. Fuck. Yeah, I did want to mention real quick just to sprinkle on the misery. Yeah, the Bears are dead last in yards per game. So, what up? You know.
I'm at Nagy.
Yeah, and a funny thing is they did a lot more of the kind of check down shit last week without Matt Nagy. The play calls seemed to be more in favor of a quarterback that was struggling instead of a guy trying to, make a dude look like a superhero without any supporting cast. So
Yeah.
maybe if Matt Nagy missed another game, it's the COVID protocol or whatever,
Maybe they'll just realize that he's bad and fire him. Be like, you know what? You don't need to come back.
Yeah.
I know. I can't remember exactly. I predicted that he got fired after.
When they lose to the Lions. That's what he said.
Yeah. That's the week 10 game, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. It's going to happen.
I actually predicted him to get fired after this game.
Yeah.
So
One of us is going to be right.
It'll be.
The way 2021's going, I bet on your side.
I would definitely put it down that an NFC North coach will be fired. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go back over to you, Christian.
Yeah. Speaking of Norths, big battle in the AFC North. Browns and Bengals, both teams needing a win after their performances last week. I mean, what happened to this Bengals defense that we were just, hey, Elijah Moore touchdown?
Fuck yeah.
Damn.
The
The Jets. That's what happened, Christian. The Jets.
Yeah. Speaking of, here we go, Jets. This fucking defense just the Jets had 32 first downs against the Bengals, which is an insane amount of first downs. Before, the most they'd allowed in a game was 21.
That's
the Bengals.
That might be more than the Vikings have on the year.
Isn't that over one every 4 minutes or whatever?
Yeah, they were averaging 6.3 yards per play.
Ugh.
So they were just eating them up no matter what they wanted to do. And, I mean, all props to Mike White, but I got to go on a small little running back rant here because everyone talks about in the media how running backs don't matter. Don't pay your running back. And then when Michael goddamn Carter goes off for 172 yards and a touchdown with 14 targets and 9 catches, nobody mentions his name once when they're talking about the game. They just talk about Mike White. And it's like, well, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy there. But the reason I actually bring up Michael Carter is that the Browns need to try and do that as well against the Bengals. And we know they don't use that Nick Chubb in the passing game, but they have to get him going on the running game, which Michael Carter was doing well last week. I mean, Nick Chubb last week, 61 yards, 3.8 yards per carry, no touchdowns, terrible game. But he's kind of the key that makes their offense work, him and Kareem Hunt. But you need to take advantage of the rushing and then using the backs out of the backfield. And if that's Dearness Johnson or if that's Demetric Felton, you need to take advantage of that because the Bengals proved that they're susceptible to it. For the Bengals side, Joe Mixon didn't run the ball very well last week, 33 yards on 14 carries, and he's facing a Browns defense that wasn't that great last week, but has been good overall against the run, really good. But he killed it on the air. And this will be an interesting matchup because Joe Mixon had 2 touchdowns through the air last week, but the Browns limited Najee Harris to 3 catches on 29 yards. And they did it in multiple different ways. They used a safety to cover him, a linebacker to cover him, and then at one point a slot corner to cover him. So I think that's an interesting matchup. And the last thing I'm going to say, first of all, Jamar Chase is amazing. I need to bring that up. T. Higgins actually had a good game last week.
Yeah,
sure.
And I think Anthony Schwartz should be on everyone's radar with OBJ being done forever.
Yeah.
Check some
I
leagues.
feel like we've kind of already talked about that too before.
Yeah, for sure. But it was like he kind of slid back down when OBJ was on the field, but now he's just not. So they're going to be looking for that piece of the offense.
Definitely, man.
And he's on Paul's team.
Of course.
Yeah, right?
How does he have so many roster spaces? He's got
He
8
doesn't-
quarterbacks on his roster. He shouldn't be able to have anybody else.
It's probably
I may not even be able to start a quarterback because everyone that's available, he just grabs them. Like,
that's good strategy, man.
if Sam Darnold,
Ruthless.
I mean, I guess I'm not playing him, and I'm the worst team in the league. But
That's true.
He wants
if
that
Sam
6.
Darnold doesn't play, there's literally no one on the waiver that I can pick up to play.
Offer
Teddy
Paul.
B is available for a first round pick.
Yeah, that's about how trading goes in this league.
Hey, it's a super flex, man.
Oh yeah, Teddy B.
Teddy B,
Okay.
man. You gotta get him.
I've sent some quarterback trades offered. I haven't gotten a response. So.
Have to peep
What
your
are you gonna
squad.
Oh, do you guys have any thoughts? I kind of ran it and then lost my place. So
Oh, you're good.
I think the Bengals have to get back on that horse, man. I can't believe that shit.
Yeah.
do you think they kind of overlooked the Jets for this game?
I bet so.
Looking on,
Yeah.
Feeling themselves.
I don't think
Yeah,
they
the
were
Cats,
expecting a Mike White to play like he
Yeah.
did. I mean, he looks good in the first drive of this game.
Well, maybe they just didn't have enough film on him.
Yeah.
That could happen.
It was just the Bengals' defense that fell apart because their offense still put up 31 points or whatever. So
Yeah, no doubt.
And
It was a fucking shootout, man.
Nick Chubb didn't get a touchdown, but another running back did, just to prove the theory
of
that
course he did.
Yeah, Stefanski hates Nick Chubb.
on his
Can't
like
stand him.
4 carries or something like that. Dearness Johnson, we're talking, by the way. I'm going to take this over to the Titans versus the Rams. This should be relatively short because, I mean,
You
who
used
the
all your
hell?
research time on that other game.
Yeah, I did. Who the hell's going to make plays for the Titans offense, dude, in this game? Derrick Henry out with a foot injury. Jalen Ramsey's going to be all over A.J. Brown.
Julio's still out.
Julio's limited. But, I mean, even if he plays, like, does Julio ever finish a game after coming off a limited week?
Yeah, he's over there counting his money.
I wrote down here maybe Jeff Swain because we know it's not going to be Ferkster. I made that mistake already this year. I guess, are we finally going to see this Chester Rodgers tease that everyone's talking about? I don't know.
Des Fitzpatrick still on that team?
I don't know. Speaking of
Well-
Des Fitzpatrick, guess who landed on the IR? Tutu Atwell.
Nice.
Sorry, what were you going to say,
Imagine
Christian?
that. Oh, I was just gonna say. I mean, the offensive coordinator already came out and said it would be a disservice to all the players on offense to stop playing the way they've been playing. So I think they're gonna try to run Adrian Peterson into the ground.
Fucking
Dude.
hey, man. I'm all for
I mean,
it.
and I don't think Adrian Peterson. I mean, that's not no one thinks that he is who he used to be, obviously. But if he's gonna land with any team, a team that almost exclusively does the power running game, probably pretty good spot for him. He could still do that fairly well.
Yeah, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT of that.
AP got bills to pay, man. He got to get out there and prove it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited. You know, I'm a big AP fan over here.
Of course.
I was going forward with the Titans D, they've not been the best against the pass. In 8 games, they've given up over 2,100 yards and 15 passing TDs. But I will say they've been turning on a bit lately. I was looking at it before you guys came over, and so they've had an interception in each game since they played the Jets, when they lost the Jets. So they've been kind of turning on.
What the fuck are the Jets doing?
Dude, the Jets won.
Beat the Titans, beat the Bengals.
Yeah.
They only want to beat good teams, all right?
I guess, man.
Saving it. We don't want to embarrass it. Never mind. Go ahead, man. They're taking out bullies.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, but this Titans D's been turning on. This might be where it ends. The Cinderella, the glass slipper might be snatched off the foot because they are playing the Rams, and this is the second best passing team in the league with 2,414 yards, 22 passing CDs, which are second only behind the Bucks. And of course, Cooper Kupp. I don't have to tell Christian about Cooper Kupp.
You tell me about
Ivan
him.
wrote your cough douche.
Fuck.
In a PPR, dude, he's got 214 fantasy points, and the second is Tyreek Hill with 177. And honestly, you can say number one because in all formats, he is number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
except for the format of my heart.
He's the first player in NFL history since the Super Bowl started to have 10 touchdowns and 900 yards in the first 8 games of the season.
and
That's
there's an extra
insane.
game this year. That's insane.
Yeah. But
Well,
he's
he
like
only makes it
already
to
on
it.
a record-setting pace, and he gets an extra game. It's going to be wild.
Yeah, we'll
Nice.
see. Hopefully everything stays
Usually.
intact. I mean, and it's not like he's the only weapon on that team. Robert Woods has been showing out a couple games. Darrell Henderson's been playing really well. Cam Akers could be back in a couple weeks.
True that.
So,
I thought he was done for the year. Can he really? Can he come
dude,
back?
I'll send you
Fuck.
a tweet, bro.
He ain't coming back.
He might help with the very end.
I guess so. Maybe in the postseason.
Yeah, dude.
That shit's happened before. I will say that
And they're going to the postseason.
Cooper Kupp has one season over 1,000 yards, so his body is getting ready to crumple.
Well, what's he need? Like 60 to break that?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So-
insane. Yeah.
No, he actually has more. He's got a couple 15, 16 season. I just had him in 2018 when he got injured halfway through the season.
Oh,
And so I'm like, he's on that list.
on your shit list.
Yeah.
It's so to conclude, I think it'll be a big test to see if this Titans defense is kind of for real, playing a real offense. Because I guess the Chiefs aren't a real offense anymore.
I mean, they are third in yards.
Now against the Titans.
Yeah, it's all that garbage time.
Yeah, man.
I'm
Pringle,
just
the
kidding.
the
No,
leading
they've still
receiver.
been. It's their turnovers that are crushing them. It's not their
Definitely.
offensive efficiency.
But I think it'll be really
yeah.
fun to watch the Ramsey, AJ Brown. I pulled up some of these stats. Jalen Ramsey versus the Bucks. Mike Evans, 2 targets, 1 reception, 14 yards. Godwin, 4 for 4 for 50. Then when they played Arizona, DeAndre Hopkins, 3 targets, 1 reception, 18 yards. AJ Green, 1 target, 0 yards. And then when they played the Seahawks, let's see here. DK Metcalf, 3 for 3 for 58 in a touchdown. And then Tyler Lockett, 2 targets, 1 reception, 13 yards, and an interception.
So he's still the greatest.
So he's still pretty good, man. So I think it'll be fun. AJ Brown coming off that big week to see if those two Titans battle it out.
Ooh, wordplay.
Good job. Let's see
Thanks.
who rams the ball into the end zone more.
Oh,
Yeah, that's fun.
damn.
Well,
That that Stafford's the only 10 I see.
wow.
No, all right. By the way, isn't it weird when you think Matt Stafford? I still think about him being on the Lions.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's so weird seeing him in a Rams jersey.
Well, it's probably a little weirder for us because we watched him twice a year.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that one's a weird one. Honestly, it's weirder to me than Brady now. Brady with
Same.
the Bucks.
Brady just feels like he should have always been with the Bucks. Feels like he has always been with the Bucks.
Yeah, it does. True. Like, it's weird.
I feel like I'm solar powered though, because when I tan, I heal. So
it's good.
It's a good one.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
All right, we're gonna get into a first battle: the Chiefs versus the Packers.
Put them up.
Yeah. Hey, what do you want to say? I mean, I didn't know exactly how we'd do this, so I just kind of set it up like the rest of them.
That's what I did too.
Okay, cool. Well, obviously we talked about a couple of things. Aaron Rodgers, right? Devontae Adams going to be back for this one. The Chiefs have been blurring it up. So I guess I'll start by talking about the Chiefs and how great they are. Basically, I want to tell you that Mahomes is leading the league in interceptions now. He's got 10. So that's pretty awesome. I do kind of want to talk about these interceptions because as much as it sucks, you got to think about this team. They're 8th in scoring, and 3 of their interceptions have happened in the red zone. Yeah. So that's costing them games. Mm-hmm. That's costing them points. And only one of these 10 interceptions has happened in the fourth quarter. So it's not like they're clutch, like in they're kind of in those intermediate drives where nothing's really on the line where these mistakes are happening. So I think you put them in this hard-nosed matchup against the Packers, and maybe everyone sharpens it up a little bit after some of the bumps they've been through. But I don't know. For one, it was weird to see the check down Mahomes going on, the Krabby Patty going on last week. No one seemed to be having fun with that, even though it was kind of effective. Yeah. So we'll see. I don't want to see too much more Alex Smith impersonations, but I don't know. So I'll send it to you. Talk some stuff.
Well, no, I mean, I think you're right. The Chiefs are being weird, but this is a good chance. I mean, with Aaron Rodgers gone, I would say that we're going to play different, but I don't think so. Because last week against the Cardinals, without our top 3 receivers, they played a very game management type role for Aaron Rodgers, and they ran the ball. The Chiefs have one of the worst run defenses in the league still. And I think we're going to have a very, very similar game plan. Devontae Adams might be back. Lazard is back. MVS is practicing. And we could be getting David Bakhtiari back. So I don't know that Jordan Love is going to have a good game. But I think he's getting set up fairly well for his first start. Now, going against Mahomes and that high-powered offense, that's not ideal. But as far as defenses he's going to have to deal with, if the line is healthy and the receivers are back and they can run the ball, it's going to help him out. And he's just going to have to take advantage of what the defense has given him. And he's had a whole year and a half to be coached under Matt LaFleur. So let's just see what he can do. I think our defense is playing well, but they haven't gone against an offense like the Chiefs. But they've been playing lights out, man. They held Kyler Murray pretty much stone cold in the first half, other than that one touchdown drive. But I think it's a whole different animal to stop all these weapons, and I could see the Chiefs maybe trying to open it back up because we have a lot of speed on our defense, so I don't even know that the dump-off game is the best way to go against the Packers. It would honestly, I think Eric Stokes is having a decent rookie year. He's has a lot of up and downs, but I think Patrick Mahomes needs to attack him because he's hyper aggressive. He wants the ball, and he hasn't been able to kind of take that NFL leap yet. And somebody as fast as, say, Tyreek Hill could take advantage of his aggressiveness pretty easily, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I've really enjoyed watching Eric Stokes, man. He's drawn some really tough matchups with some of the injuries they've been having on the defensive side of the ball. And I think he's got a lot of heart, man. He has like a physical play style. I think it's going to be awesome. I think Tyreek's going to have fun with him, though.
Yeah, I think
he's going to play with them.
They're going to have to help him out.
Absolutely.
They're going to have to help him.
Yeah, they'll have the teal high look, right? The Chiefs formation.
The Chiefs formation. Well, yeah, you would assume Darnell Savage and Eric Stokes are probably going to handle Hill, and then you throw Amos and maybe Devondre Campbell on Kelsey, but I don't know. I don't know what you do.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's doing that, so Tyreek Hill still had 18 targets last week, which is fucking crazy.
Bananas.
Yeah, he caught 12 of them, but the longest reception was 15 yards. So
wow.
Yeah.
It's
That's wild.
It's fucking weird, man. I think they're just like, don't lose. We cannot lose. Whatever we do, you can't lose. And they didn't lose. So now they got to, they're inching it back. It was kind of a pretty weak game. They were only averaging like 4.5 yards a play last week, which is like the Bills have the best average on their defense of 4.6. So that is worse than the best in the league. So that's pretty rough. But their defense did step it up a little bit last game. There's some good pressures, especially on that last drive from the big name, the money talks guys. So they allowed 5 yards per play to the Giants, which is not a great offense, not a great stat, but it seems like they were able to put a lid on something, which was good. Yeah. Willie Gay and Nick Bolton, like that seems like a hell of a duo.
Yeah, they're playing well.
But I'm kind of scared about Randall Cobb if they let Sorensen keep playing that nickel corner position.
Yeah,
it's So, but there was like a glimmer of hope. I have to say the offensive line, I don't know if they're getting shade or not, but they played really well last week.
Yeah.
And, they're 3 first-year guys on that O-line. So I think maybe, fuck it. I'll say they hit whatever you want to call it, a safety zone, regroup. That's what it seemed like. They're like, let us not get ahead of ourselves, cool the confidence down, get back to basics, and then let's, start to branch out from there. Obviously, the gunslinger shit's not going that well right now.
It's not, no.
So we'll see what happens.
Style of play, man. You dealt with that with Favre for years, and I always say that Patrick Mahomes reminds me of like a more talented, more athletic Brett Favre, because he just does some wild ass shit sometimes, and sometimes it burns you. But you have years like this where it's burning you more than you're getting the benefit from it, and he needs to corral himself and gain that confidence back.
Yep.
But yeah, man. I would have definitely picked the Packers in this game. I'd probably pick the Chiefs with the Packers without Aaron Rodgers. I do think it falling from a pick'em game in Vegas to an 8.5 point favorite for the Chiefs seems disrespectful.
I thought you'd bring that up.
But just because the rest of our team is playing super well, so as long as Jordan Love is not a train wreck, it should be a competitive game. And I'm genuinely excited to see Jordan Love. Obviously, I would love for Aaron Rodgers to be in there. It sucks that he has COVID, 1 for his health, and then 2 just because I love watching him play. But I am really, really excited to see what Jordan Love can do. I'm pretty stoked, actually.
I'm excited because I want to see what the headlines are next week. Because if Jordan Love does really well, it's gonna be fuck Aaron Rodgers. We don't need you. Or if he does poorly, it's gonna be like Aaron Rodgers letting the entire team down by not getting vaccinated. It doesn't matter. It's still gonna be Aaron Rodgers.
Negative towards Aaron Rodgers. Yeah.
When they drafted Jordan Love, wasn't it like the impression of him was like a Pat Mahomes style quarterback?
Yeah, they liked the big strong arm, the mobility. It was just the arm talent, which if you watch his Collins film, you see what they're talking about.
For sure.
But he needed to be kind of sculpted and coached to be more efficient and better. So we'll see if that coaching worked.
I'm really
I think
excited to see if he comes out and like is true to. Obviously, he's in an awkward ass situation.
Oh yeah,
and,
it's gotta be weird.
Yeah, but if he comes out and and he can make a kind of a stance on defending himself through his play, he hasn't really had an opportunity to do that. It'll be cool. I'll be happy
awesome.
either way.
Two people get to kind of prove what they're about in this game: Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur, because everyone dismisses him as a coach because he has Aaron Rodgers, even though Mike McCarthy had a losing record in his last season with Aaron Rodgers. But regardless, so if Matt LaFleur, let's say they come into Arrowhead with Jordan Love and they beat the Chiefs, I think Matt LaFleur locked up Coach of the Year. Right? Like he has to. Unless the wheels fall off after, but if they end up becoming the 1 or 2 seed in the NFC after beating the undefeated Cardinals with down 3 receivers and then being down Aaron Rodgers and beating the Chiefs at home, I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that.
All
right. Well, let's go on to.
I mean, yeah, I feel like it's too early for Coach of the Year, but yeah, I can't think of a viable opposition. I guess if one less Rondell Moore pick, and it could have been, old Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, matchup battle number 2.
Deuce.
Chargers versus the Eagles.
Let's see if I wrote anything down for this one.
I think this one will be much shorter. Well, I can take it from the top. These teams are both kind of on opposite trends. The Chargers have lost 2 in a row and scored less than 20 points in both those games. And the Eagles just dropped a 40 burger on the Lions. So one's feeling pretty low. One's feeling really high after that. It was the Lions. So, I mean.
I was going to say, how high can you feel after a game where you only had 16 pass attempts? You know what I mean?
I mean, that's fair. But I do want to talk about Justin Herbert. He had 3 games in a row where his QBR or quarterback rating was above 100. And his last 2 games, it's been 67 and 66. And he feels like when you watch him, he's not confident. Like, has he gotten in his own head after the Ravens game? Because if so, he needs to get out of it and get out of it quick, or they're going to kind of lose that lead that they had over the Chiefs. I mean, they're already pretty much lost it. So
some people have to be an underdog, man.
Yeah.
That was the Brady thing, right?
For a long time, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that offense is pretty inconsistent, man.
Yeah,
Honestly, especially like Mike Williams has ghost games, and then he has big time games, and then we saw this was the first time we've seen Keenan Allen really pop up on the radar. He had 11 targets.
Yeah.
Last week, so it's just inconsistent.
Like they need every single piece to be working exactly right, or they can't get any of it to work. It's weird.
Truth.
Like
it's a first-year coach, right? So maybe they put enough shit on film.
Yeah.
Kind of getting their number.
That's fair. But I don't know. I like the Chargers in this game. They need a bounce back though, because I don't think the Eagles are that good. They just beat up on a bad team. But that's
how dare you? How dare you? No, they were fucking horrible, man. I mean, I'm not really impressed by what the Eagles did last week.
Yeah.
It was fucking Jordan Howard and Boston Scott. Like, these aren't Eagles players. The rest of your team did dog shit. The guys that you haven't counted on all week came out and just won you a game against a winless team.
Yeah.
The people you needed to step up, the people you needed to rely on weren't part of this game. I know that I said this last week with 100% confidence that Kenny Gainwell was going to have the opportunity of a lifetime to crush it because the Lions were giving up all kinds of shit. And he had a golden opportunity. He gets 1 target, He gets fucking basically nothing thrown his way. So you're not even taking advantage of an opportunity in a blowout to test out some plays to draw up some schemes when the risk level doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Instead, you're playing it, I guess, safe, keeping the ball on the ground with non-starting players and just running up the score. It kind of felt like a waste of a game. I know Gardner Minshew got in there and had like 2 pass attempts. So what the fuck happened?
Yeah, what are we doing?
Like it doesn't really count as a win.
Yeah.
Your organization isn't in a position to leverage a record, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really see anyone's job being on the line when it comes down to the Eagles. So what was this? What the hell just happened?
That's fair. Speaking of, but also, what's Devonta Smith been doing, man? I feel like he was awesome, and then he's just kind of disappeared. Unless he's just going under my radar.
No, he's not going under anyone's radar. I think he had 3 targets last week, if I'm not mistaken, in 1 catch, I believe. Dallas Goedert had 7 targets, and so all the receivers.
And they only passed it 16 times.
Yeah, yeah. Oh. 1, 2, half of it was tight ends, running backs, and then the other half was sprinkled amongst the wide receivers. The other 8 targets were sprinkled amongst 3 wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, just like you're saying, what are they doing? They should have gotten their rookies involved during that blowout. But Jordan Howard, let's go.
That's the whole team, high draft picks because you guys suck. So why don't you put Jordan Howard in there? You know what I mean? And maybe I'm overreacting. But if I was the coach, this game turns into a high-level practice in the second half, and they didn't really treat it like that. I thought it was kind of a wasted opportunity. But there's a golden opportunity this week because it's the 32nd ranked rushing defense with the Chargers and the 5th ranked passing defense with the Chargers. So I guess you prove that you can run the ball. Here's your opportunity to win another game and get a worse draft pick and no other benefit because of it. So what's up? Let's roll. Let's roll Eagles, man.
Yeah.
But on the real, their defense is playing pretty well. Actually, they're top 10 in stopping yards, and they're top 10 in stopping the pass yards. So, we'll see what happens. They're not that great in stopping the rush, though. So, could be a good Eckler game. I know Justin Jackson had 1 baller-ass carry last week. Larry Roundtree didn't get too much action. He did get a couple carries. And apparently Austin Eckler started himself in his fantasy lineup. So I think Austin Eckler is going to be balling out again this week, especially if he has to, carry a passing game that isn't firing on all cylinders by all accounts. Herbert takes the game off. Keenan Allen slow to emerge. Mike Williams hot and cold. Austin Eckler victory lap feels like the thing.
Yeah.
Fair.
I don't know. I got angry because I hadn't thought about how they wasted that game against the Lions until now, and now it just kind of blows my mind.
Yeah, I don't understand why you wouldn't take an opportunity to get some confidence in your young players, like you said. So
for sure,
it's different out there, man. It's Philly.
Yeah, I guess so. 40 points is better than developing talent for the future.
Yeah, dude, you didn't know?
I didn't know that it's like fantasy, right? They do point total for tiebreakers and shit like that.
Yeah, Sirianni just started Jordan Howard and Boston Scott in his league. He's like, sorry, Kenny.
Right.
I know. Kenny Gainwell.
Right. I still think Kenny Gainwell can get it straightened out a little bit on this one.
Well, all right, man. Well, we got the rest of these games that don't seem too exciting, so we can just kind of breeze through these and wrap this shit up. So we're going to go Broncos, Cowboys. Cowboys coming off that win, but go ahead.
I mean, there's not much to this game. The Cowboys should keep rolling. Their defense has, I think, been kind of the surprise of the year. They've got a legit defense. It's not amazing, but it's good. And you tie that in with the offense. Dak's practicing. He said there's no reason he won't play. I think the Cowboys roll.
Hell yeah. I think it gives a little pressure on the Teddy B world. Might see some cool shit coming out of the Broncos offense, but not enough to win.
Disappointing return for Jerry Jeudy. Didn't really do all that much, but maybe they're just working him back,
Yeah.
So.
Looks like Noah Fant might be out,
Oh, yeah.
Okabunum time, man.
Yeah. Let's go.
Let's get that Missouri West going. We put Drew Lock in there. Just get all the Missouri guys rolling. Sorry.
You're good.
Yeah, man.
But, I don't have anything. Can we just skip the next game? Just like entirely?
Texans,
so.
Miami. Hey, man. Tyrod's back.
I thought Devonta Parker had a great return. He showed out pretty big for the Dolphins after being injured for a little while. Mm-hmm. That could be huge for them. Him and Tua have been doing things together for a little while. So could just be what they need.
Honestly, like the only reason I wanted the Deshaun Watson trade to happen just because of this game. It would have been the next game, which would have been insane.
Oh, fucking revenge, dude.
Revenge game.
We would have had to, have like a fire burning for the.
All right. Well, let's move on. Falcons versus the Saints. We already talked a little bit. Jameis Winston out. I'm going to say Trevor Siemian or Taysom Hill's back.
I think it's Taysom Hill.
Taysom's back, yeah.
Yippee.
Wow.
So. Pull your Alvin Kamara's.
Yeah, man.
Speaking of vulturing touchdowns, Taysom Hill's back at it.
Big number 7.
I think, dude, Pitts looked really good last week.
Yeah.
Dude, that guy's so good.
Yeah.
I think Russell Gage probably realizes that he's the whole team now as far as the wide receiver core.
And let's roll that Cordero Patterson, man. Let's just keep it going.
Truth. Yeah, Olamide, Zacchaeus. Maybe Frank Darby gets some action now.
Ooh.
That'd be cool.
I'd be fucking so happy.
Hayden Hurst, maybe a little bit. I'm just kidding.
Not unless he's playing quarterback for the Saints. No, it's a pass catchers should stay pass catchers joke. Taysom.
All right, Patriots versus Panthers. I think the big story here is PJ Walker. Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is set to start.
He's a pretty talented quarterback.
The XFL guy, right?
Yeah, he's got some skills, some wills.
It would be sad if Sam Darnold really can't play because it'd be fun to watch him against Bill Belichick again.
Oh,
God. I tortured him twice a year. Made him see ghosts.
Maybe, maybe he's not actually out. He's just like...
He's just scared. He doesn't want to do it.
I get 2 weeks vacation a year. I'm taking Sunday off.
Should be interesting. CMC's slated to come back.
Yeah, he's been practicing. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, he's been practicing. He was limited though, so we'll see how they want to work him in. But he makes their offense go. He really does. You could see the wheels fall off as soon as he was gone.
Yeah.
I mean, Chuba's been doing a great job. So.
Yeah, but it's just not the same. They don't run the offense the same way. They don't throw to Chuba as much, which doesn't make sense because he can catch. Didn't make sense, but
there's no substitute for CMC.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Chuba, I think, showed that he could be a starter in this league at some point. But
absolutely.
Yeah, you can't replace CMC.
Nope, as we can see with Antonio Gibson.
TMJ is back in the hizzy.
I saw that. Yeah, he is. He's active.
That's going to be great, because 1 target for Robbie Anderson, 1 target for Shai Smith. He can join the 1 target brigade. Everyone that's not DJ Moore gets 1 target.
Yep.
Get out there and make the most of your 1 opportunity.
DJ Moore shopping at Sam Club.
That's right. He's got a cart full of targets. This dude's like, no carry-ons, 1 target only.
And then let's talk about this last game. It's going to be an exciting one. An AFC matchup going down. Bills versus the Jaguars.
Oh, man. How did this not get a main slate attention?
I know, man. I thought about it, but I was like, I guess the Titans-Rams will be pretty good.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah, I mean,
too much turkey, dude.
yeah.
You got the itis.
all right. Yeah, the Bills roll, right? I mean, I don't think.
I bet, hey, weren't people
The
saying
Jags
that
have
about the Bengals
anything?
last week?
Hey, weren't they saying
Well,
that
yeah.
about the Bills last week? They had some
Well,
struggles.
the Jaguars
with
don't
the-
have Mike White, bro.
That's true.
I'm just saying the Finns put up a pretty good game against the Bills last week,
That's true.
considering.
It's division, man.
I think they were doing that for their honor, though, after the first one. 35 to zip.
Who will fight for your honor?
yeah, looking for that Dan Arnold to keep rolling, baby.
Yeah, 10 targets last week.
Let's go,
Jamal
man.
Agnew had 12
Agnew.
targets last week.
The only two Jags
Stephon
I'm
Diggs getting in the end zone again.
Let's go. Must love MLD.
Must love Diggs. So yeah, what are you gonna say about the Bills? They're out there playing games, man.
Yeah, dude, they're playing games to my heart, man.
Yeah, that'll happen. You're a sensitive dude.
Yeah, I can't help it. I'm a Vikings fan. I'm always being defensive.
He gets emotionally attached.
Yeah.
It is true. Yeah, I think the Bills are gonna roll, and if they don't, that'll just be the second headline right below whatever Aaron Rodgers does wrong next week. So
Yeah.
What is that, a 3:30 game or something, or is that prime time, or is it noon?
Bills, Jags, or
The Packers game,
that's 125, so 325.
3:25.
yeah,
That's what.
probably America's game of the week would be my
I would
guess.
assume so.
Oh yeah.
And
It's
can
either
we
Dallas or Green Bay.
Can we have fucking nice things? Like in 2018, we were going to get Rodgers versus Mahomes, and then Mahomes got hurt.
No.
Now we're
Yeah,
doing
nice,
it
nice.
again, and fucking Rodgers gets COVID and pisses the whole world off.
Yeah.
No, I'm not mad.
Everyone but the Chiefs
I-
fans.
I
I'm
was
not like
mad at-
happy, but
Yeah.
I just figured like everyone was vaccinated, you know, like
I think that's
Maybe.
why people are so angry. It's because they thought he was vaccinated, but then it turned out he wasn't. So now all the media and like fans feel betrayed. But it's like, well, the NFL and the Packers knew he wasn't. Like he's no under no
It's a
obligation to
personal
tell
decision.
us. Like,
yeah, I
like
think
and
well,
yeah, he was. I don't know. You could call it douchey or shady with the way he answered a question, but
do shady.
like maybe he lied, but at the end of the day, like it's none of our fucking business. And it wasn't a lie technically, if you look at the definitions. But
yeah.
Yeah, I think it just came out of left field. Did he get it
Yeah.
from Devontae Adams or what?
I don't think so, because if it would have been Adams, then he would have had to sit the Cardinals game because he would have been a close contact, a non-vaccinated
they-
close contact.
Oh yeah.
We're in
So
bracelets.
then he should have got the Lazard treatment. So
Oh, the lizard treatment.
Nah, they needed him to play against the Cardinals. They're like, we'll sweep one under the rug, bud, but Kansas City needs a win, so
I think that's the conspiracy theory going around, is that he gets treated differently because he's Aaron Rodgers. It's like, okay.
all right. Well, I think that wraps it up, boys and
man.
gals.
This is crazy. There's still 3.5 minutes left in this game, and they just showed the playoff graphic and put the Colts at 4-5. It's only 22 points. They can do that 3.5 minutes.
Ty
And they
Johnson
just scored.
scored.
Yeah. So take fucking graphics down, man. This is like when they miscalled a field goal earlier in the season. Now this is happening. Idiots.
Yeah. Also, why couldn't that be Michael Carter? Fuck you, Ty Johnson.
Yeah.
TJ.
Yeah, you already fumbled it once. Get out of there.
It's been
Good
a
photo.
good time. I like doing this square off versus thing.
Yeah, it's cool.
I don't know if I
Okay,
should
bye.
say this stuff.
Bye, everybody.
Oh,
Bye.
I guess we should sign
Bye.
This was fun. You guys are still here?